Welcome to the SAP Customer Self-Service videos. This is part 3 of the Procurement Operation Desk for the sourcing module. In this video, we'll be talking about how to set up and manage your SLAs in Procurement Operation Desk. So if you haven't seen the first two videos, I'd suggest you'd watch them first before proceeding with the third video here. Once you've done that, let's just hop into your Ariba solution. From the top there, you should see the Procurement Operation Desk. Just keep in mind that, as we mentioned in the first two videos, you do need to be part of the Procurement Desk Administrator group to be able to access the system settings. So once you've got the access, jump into the System Settings tab at the top. And you'll notice in the first two videos, we talked about setting up the workspace settings, configuring the rules setting. We created a queue, and in this video, we'll talk about how to create a new SLA. So from the Service Level Agreement section, let's click on Manage SLA Settings. And in this screen, this is where it'll hold all your service level agreements. So if you've got any created, they'll show up here. For now, we're just going to click on Create a New SLA. And similar to the queue management screen, here is the screen that's going to allow us to create a new SLA. So first thing is we're going to select the sourcing project as a document. If you had created multiple documents as part of the workspace settings, they'd show up here as well. But the fact that we're only going to do this for the sourcing project, it's the only one that's going to appear for us. First thing off is we're going to select the name and description. As we mentioned in prior videos, just make sure you select a name and description that's relevant to the queue or the SLA. That way, if multiple people are working as administrators, they know which or what queue and SLA represent. So the next one is we're going to set the priority. So similar to the queue, for the SLA, there is if you've created multiple SLAs, the system will use the priority to define which ones are triggered before others. If you've got overlapping SLAs, the system will then use a priority as well to define which ones get assigned. We're going to select priority 1, with 1 being the highest priority and 10 being the lowest. The next field here is setting up the number of days to resolve. So what's your SLA for pretty much for whatever task gets assigned to this. In this scenario, we're going to select 7 days, keeping in mind that this is in days. The system will use business days, so it won't count holidays and public holidays as well, or weekends as well. So the last one there is the show warning in percentage. So when would you want the system to notify or warn pretty much the user assigned to that document that their SLA is coming up? I'm just going to select 50%, keeping in mind this is a percentage field here. And lastly, we're going to set up the rules. So when is this SLA triggered for a task or a document? We're going to click on Add Rule. And you'll notice here we're going to select similar to the one we created for the queue, so we're just going to define it based on location. Another reminder there that the drop-down value fields here is set up as part of the rule settings in video 1. So if you need to add any other criteria, just make sure to add them there. In this rule, we're just going to create that this SLA is going to apply pretty much to all requests and documents coming through that are from Australia. So we're just going to select Australia here. You can add multiple rules, just depending on what you need. So once you've done that, the last thing is just to validate the status here. If you want this to be active straight away, just set this active. If not, just deactivate it here. Once you've done that, just go ahead and click on the Save button, and that's going to create your SLA. So just to recap what we did here, in the 3 videos essentially. So the first video we discussed about how to set up the workspace and linking the sourcing projects to Procurement Desk. The second one we talked about setting up the rule settings and what fields and criteria are going to be used in our queues and SLAs. We then talked about setting up the queue, and in this video we discussed how to set up your SLA. Once that's all done, the next step that you need to do is actually make sure that any sourcing project or task, the approver or the owner needs to be part of the Procurement Desk sourcing agent team. or group. So once they've been added to that group, any task or sourcing project they are assigned to will flow through to Procurement Operation Desk. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your account manager or the SAP customer support team. Thanks, guys.